Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This evening we're going to be looking at converting between fractions, decimals, and percents. And if you look, you can see on the screen there that this is the most basic one. This fraction is a representation as that decimal and could also be represented as that percent. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take notes to help us as we start to convert to change between fractions, decimals, and percents. So if you would please have your notes out on your area to work with you there. We're going to go through and we're just going to fill in our notes at this point. I know it's a little overwhelming when you look at the couple of pages or whatnot, but never fear, we're just going to take the notes tonight, and then that way when we come to class tomorrow, we can use our entire class time to go over examples and such of how to do how to convert between each type. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our notes, and I just need you to follow along and fill in when it is time to fill in. So if you're looking at your notes, it says when changing a percent to a decimal or a decimal to a percent, the basic steps are the same. Percent means out of 100. And we do need to remember that. That is something that we're going to be talking about, come back to time and time again. So percent means out of 100. So when changing between a percent and decimal, or a decimal and percent, this happens simply by moving the decimal. Now I could tell you it happens because of multiplication or division, but to keep things simple, we're just going to learn how to change between percents and decimals simply by moving the decimal. Because percents are, as I said, out of 100, you always move the decimal 2 places or twice. Okay, and that is because of the fact that they're out of 100. Hundreds are 2 decimal places. Hundredths are 2 decimal places away from the decimal. Hundreds have 2 zero places. So you always move your decimal 2 places, either left or right. So to determine which direction the decimal moves, think of your ABCs. It's that simple. You've known your ABCs since you were in kindergarten. Now we're going to use the knowledge of our ABCs to determine which way we're going to move our decimal when we are changing between percents to a decimal and decimals to percents. It truly is that simple. Here we go. Step 1. Find the decimal in the problem. And this is going from percent to decimal. This is changing from a percent to a decimal at the beginning here. You're going to find the decimal in the problem. Remember, the decimal is in a whole number is located behind the digit in ones place. So if you have 47%, remember the decimal is located behind the whole number. Determine if you are changing from a percent to decimal or decimal to a percent. You have to know which direction you are going. Think of your ABCs. To move from a P percent to a D decimal, in other words, from P to D in the alphabet, you move which direction? So if you have your ABCs, here's D, here's P, which direction do you have to move? We move to the left. So that is the direction you move the decimal also. So if you're going from a percent to a decimal, you move your decimal 2 places to the left. If you're changing from a decimal D to a percent P, in other words, from D to P in the alphabet, you have to move, I hope you said it, you have to move right. So that is the direction you move the decimal also. Remember, always move the decimal 2 places. You're determining whether you're going left or right. D to P would be in the right, to the right. D to P, you're going to the left. Determine which way you're moving and then always move 2 places. All right, so an example, if you're moving from a percent to a decimal, let's say we have 78%.